Hey guys, so in today's video, we will be discussing, oh crap, almost forgot, lobbies and gentlegrams. In today's episode of Big Macas Academics and Top 5 topping the tribunal tender twin of Taylor Swift, the Toronto Tough Talker Champagne Petition Padre, we are about to dissect how the wannabe Whopper, the Burger King cobbler, the father of internet antics, Big Maca sandwich, smuggling sad boy, Aka fanboy Demix is leading the goofiest glazer of the gaveling gram, top 5 down a bad path of crashing out on the Compton Crusher, the Canadian casket carver, King Kung Fu Kenny. Now, if this is your first time and you don't understand the rhyme, make sure you hit a little like and subscribe, and let me break down line by line what the heck I'm saying here. So, we all know Akademiks, Big Macas Academics, right? The internet personality who boasts an impressive list of beefs ranging from Chrissy Teigen to Saucy Santana to Young Miami to Meek Mill, the muncher of the Champagne Petition Padres pistachio nuts, Adin Ross's saucy stepsister, DJ Diddler, the Akadidi doofus, right? Hey, before we start this video too, I posted this 3 days ago, 10,000 votes, and 82% of you chose GNX over the Carter 2. That is something. The 10-year-old me would be very upset at this poll. This is, I don't know about this one. Let me know in the comments, the Carter 2 or GNX. The Carter 2 was one of the first albums that got me into hip-hop, so I'm conflicted here. I'm conflicted. Seems like a little bit of recency bias to me, but I did go to my buddy's birthday the other night, all you can eat spare ribs and fried chicken, and they were blasting GNX at that restaurant the whole night. It goes off, let me tell you. It doesn't matter that we were in Canada. It doesn't matter where you are. That is definitely an album for the ages, but over the Carter 2? What about over the Carter 3 then? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But alright, let's not get sidetracked here. So in one corner you have Akademiks, a man who thrives off the conflict of other hip-hop personalities, a man who came in the YouTube game documenting the horrible cycles of violence within Chicago, a man who then catapulted his career covering the conflict of the clown Tekashi 6ix9ine, a man who very much loves conflict because not only has he built his career off it, to this day, the thing that gets him the most clicks and views is instigating and antagonizing, but not taking responsibility for the violence that ensues. And speaking of sues, we have Sandra suing son, Labry, freaky feminine fanboy of Rihanna's rejected Romeo, the Marilyn Monroe ho, who Akademiks has been glazing for ages, even though in rap beefs he went 2-0. Akadidi is the Champagne Petition Padres cheerleader. Drake mentioned Akademiks in his diss record against Kendrick push-ups, he sampled Akademiks, and ever since then it's been a whole bunch of unbiased media coverage from Akadidi trying to do everything he could in his power to shift public perception against Kendrick and for Drake. He's even got his little minion running a propaganda Twitter page, spreading as much vile misinformation about Kendrick and about Drake as possible. But you guys know about all this, right? And if you don't, I have a whole video on Drake's history of bullying Akademiks, so maybe I'll leave that in the description. But what makes this situation vile is the addition of the, I don't even want to call him a rapper, the internet personality Top 5. Now, this Top 5 guy has more of Drake's pistachio walnuts in his mouth than Big Macas Academics has Big Macs in his mouth. And the two together, Snackadiddy and Top 5, make for a vile, evil, disgusting pairing that can really lead to a disgusting outcome, not just for themselves, but potentially Drake and potentially Kendrick, if they take their internet trolling to the real world. And again, Akademiks is no stranger to this, right? We saw him consistently antagonize and encourage 6ix9ine's antics way back in 2018 when he was beefing a bunch of different rappers. He thrives off the controversy because he sits in his house propping up the conflict and takes no responsibility for the outcome of it. Now, let's take a look at his connection to Top 5, Drake's connection to Top 5, and what recently went down in the last couple of days, because again, it's really disgusting. So firstly, let me give you guys a little crash course, a little history on who Top 5 is, because for all you guys who are employed, maybe you're married with children, this is very pertinent, important information for you to know. So Top 5 for years now has been calling himself Drake's, I don't know if I could say this word on YouTube, the person who is ready to unalive for Drake, essentially. Drake has been icing him out.
You wanna know who gave me this?
Yeah.
My dog. Somebody I'll kill for. Somebody that I'll put my life on the line.
What's his name?
No, but you already put your life. But you already put your life on it.
I don't know if it's Drake, but yo, this person right here.
No, it's Dogg.
This person right here, I'll kill for them.
Drake has been taking him to basketball games.
Happy birthday. Let's make this a cake-sized moment.
But what's funny is before Drake paid off Top 5's lawyer fees, Top 5 was in the can crapping on Drake.
Behind OVO.
How do they run Toronto?
I need lawyer fees.
And when I come home, bro, let me tell you something. OVO beat me up. They put me in the XXX trial. It beat me up. It beat me up. It beat me up. They got my star rated. I'm going hard for them. And they're not paying me.
Well, hold on.
They're not paying me.
They're not paying you? But yo, let me ask you a
They're
question.
not giving us cash.
What? They never dropped the lawyer fees?
Big up Akademiks and big up Bunda.
That's
Those are that BFR Bunda. Those are the lawyer boys.
Those are the lawyer boys?
Maybe this was a joke. Maybe after this, Drake decided to become his sugar daddy. Who knows? But ever since Top 5 has been released from prison back in around September of 2024, he has been on a dummy mission to make Drake look as foolish as possible, starting with attempting to inherit the Kendrick and Drake beef from Drake.
Let me tell you something. Kendrick Lamar can't come to Toronto. I'm here.
Yo! No. Yo, we gotta politic this real quick. Yo.
Now, you might think, like, why would Drake carry around this guy the way Akademiks carries around a Wendy's number 7? Like, this guy is a PR nightmare for Drake. And while Drake is filing lawsuits against his record label stating that a diss song like Not Like Us is compromising his safety, a guy like Top 5 is doing more damage to Drake than any Rihanna rejection ever could. So much so to the point where WAC 100 had to get on a live podcast dangling a hard drive claiming that there is detrimental information to both Top 5 and Drake's freedom on that piece of hardware, and that Drake, if he was smart, would do everything he could to get rid of this crash out dummy.
I see you got Top 5 up there.
Yeah, we got Top 5 coming up.
Drake need to get away from Top 5.
Why do you think he's bad news?
Bad news. Drake, hear me, no troll. You need to get away from that dude. That dude with his mouth and the things he say, it does not support your career and how far you come. I'm telling you as a brother, get the fuck away from Top 5, bro.
So, how did Drake end up connecting with Top 5, and why does he feel this sense of loyalty to him? Well, if you think it's disturbing that they're even friends to begin with, the story of how they became friends is a lot weirder. See, the first time we saw Drake publicly acknowledge Top 5 was way back in 2014, where he shared a picture of himself listening or watching a Top 5 music video where, at the time, 15 or 16-year-old Top 5 is shirtless, and Drake captioned the post saying, "Back in the 6, word to Top 5. Now, as far as how Drake and Top 5 met, in an interview in 2015 when, again, Top 5 was around 16 years old, he detailed how Drake knew a lot of people from Top 5's neighborhood and that Drake has always been supportive of his hood. He has friends there. Drake puts people up on Instagram from Top 5's block, and that's how he's been into Top 5's music. Now, back then, Top 5 was going by the nickname Shirt Off Shawty, which you might recognize from the 2016 Drake song Grammys, where he rapped,
Like I'm shirt off, like I'm shirt off, like I'm shirt off, shorty.
later shouting out Top 5 by name in that song.
Top 5, no debating. Top 5, top 5, top 5.
Now, the two lovebirds met way back in 2013, when again, Top 5, I believe, was around 14 years old. Drake used to host these basketball tournaments called the OVO Bounce Basketball Games, and in that 2015 interview, Top 5 spoke on the first time him and Drake met. Now, I'll try to quote him in the best Toronto accent I possibly can. "Yo, Crody, it all started in 2013 at the OVO Bounce tournament when Brandon Jennings took his shirt off. I was going to take a picture with him, and then I decided to take my shirt off. And Crody, the whole crowd started going crazy. We posted that pic, and since that day, it's been hashtag shirt off shoddy. I took a picture with Drake with my shirt off, and that was only the second time I met Drake." So, sorry, this wasn't the first time, it was the second time he met Drake. Again, 2013, Top 5 in 2025, according to Google, is 26 years old. So, do the math on how old he was in 2013, taking his shirt off, taking pictures with Drake. I'm not implying anything weird was going on, you know, everything is alleged here, but these were Top 5's words, not mine. Now, this interview gets a little stranger. The interviewer asks, "Top 5, how did Drake hear about your music?" Top 5 said, "Crody, he knew me. He was asking, who is that kid with his shirt off?" Nah, I'm done with the Toronto accent. Top 5 said, he knew me. He was asking, who is that kid with his shirt off? Then I went to a signing and me and Drake got to know each other and the friendship started. From then on, we kept hitting each other up. He's always been supportive of my hood and has friends there. He puts people up on Instagram from my hood, and from that day, he's been onto my music. And here's the craziest quote from that interview. "The first time I saw Drake," again, this is Top 5 speaking, "the first time I saw Drake, I didn't know who he was. Like, I knew who he was, but I didn't know if he was that nice guy or that mean guy. But when I took my shirt off and he jumped in the picture, from that day on, he's been watching me. He knows these streets. I'm gonna drop a couple more songs and then you'll know it's official. That night when Drake put up my pictures, I've never seen it like that. I love Drake. He's a cool guy for putting that out. I salute him and I thank him for that. Like, I have a fan base, but he gave me a much bigger fan base. So essentially, the way Drake and Top 5 became friends was Top 5 took his shirt off at one of Drake's basketball games. They took a picture, and from there, the rest is history. But while they bonded in the early days over Top 5 being shirtless, their bond would grow as Top 5 grew older and later professed that he was now Drake's shooter.
Yeah, I'm Drake's shooter.
Oh,
I'm not lying to you. Anybody disrespect Drake, I'm shooting.
Damn.
Now you'll see as this story unfolds, it's oftentimes academics giving this clown a platform to spew this nonsense to make Drake look even worse. Almost like Ak is working as a double agent, because while he's giving this clown Top 5 a platform, he's also providing the line of questioning and the audience to enable this guy to drag Drake into these beefs and destroy his reputation. And that's not to say Top 5 wasn't in his own antics way before 2025 when he started dragging Drake down with him. Let me give you some insane Canadian history on what Top 5 has been through over the last couple of years. But first, ladies and gentlegrams, unlike Drake, a bunch of you guys have been telling me you've been Anita Max winning some free cash from playing mobile games. So I want to put all you guys on to something that almost seems too good to be true. All right, let me give you a little glimpse into my life. When I'm not making this content for you guys, I have a disgusting addiction to my phone. My daily screen time is higher than Drake on that album cover, higher than Snoop off the edibles. So if you guys suffer that same addiction as me, I want to put you onto something that's going to change your life. FreeCash.com is a program that partners with mobile games that are looking for more users to play their games, and they will literally pay you to play their games for free. All you got to do is sign up using the QR code you see on the screen or using the link in the description of this video. You make an account super easy. All you got to do is put in your email, create a password, verify your email, and then you're good to go. And they got a bunch of games. My favorite is the Monopoly Go, because we're always on the go trying to make some money. Once you make an account, you just click the game you want to play, follow the directions that they give you. The directions are super easy. Usually you just got to download the game and start playing. So it's about time you put that phone addiction to good use. Again, use the QR code you see on the screen or the link in my description. Create an account and you could start making more than $150 just to play a game on your phone. So way back in 2021, Top 5 was charged with accessory to unalive after a 23-year-old student had lost his life. According to authorities, the victim had no ties to any sort of gang violence, and while Top 5 was arrested, he was let out on bond despite previous warning signs that previously been accused of ignoring orders from the justice system. And by the time May 2021 rolled around and the charges were upgraded to first degree unaliving, Top 5 was already on the run, allegedly hiding out in LA. And I say hiding in the loosest way possible because this guy was making appearances on Instagram Live.
Artist has been connecting with fans on social media. There's just one problem. He's also on the run, wanted for murder.
That appears to be Top 5, speaking out on a live streaming Instagram video over the weekend. His viewers tell him he's a fugitive. One asking, isn't Top 5 on the run for a body? The rapper seems to talk back.
The only run I know is the treadmill.
Oh my God, run away, Top 5, run.
Run, baby, run. Run.
They can't catch you.
Like, I ain't do shit. Everybody know I ain't do shit, but it's 144, but I'm so clutch.
And of course, had to stop by DJ Akademiks' live stream, even though he was wanted by Toronto authorities.
I thought it was just a song, but I heard they just caught you for 2 cases. And he said, bro, I'm gonna beat that. Easy.
They try to frame me for some shit.
Oh, they trying to frame me? Oh, no. Oh, man. He on the run. From what? Ain't no running going on? What y'all talking about? Yeah, right. I do need to get a little running. I'm gonna get a little run going on. Ain't nothing wrong with a little running.
And eventually, all that yapping on Akademiks live streams got Top 5 back in the arms of Toronto authorities. He spent several years incarcerated on this charge as he awaited trial, somehow had access to multiple cell phones while in jail, shooting music videos, speaking on Drake's name, like the video I played you earlier where he spoke on how Drake wasn't paying his lawyer fees, but later flip-flopping and riding for Drake after Kendrick unleashed Not Like Us. Now, luckily for Top 5, by September of 2024, he was actually released a free man after the Crown had stayed his charge. Now, what that means is, essentially, the criminal prosecution is temporarily suspended and the case is put on hold. The Crown, or the judge, can later choose to reinitiate the prosecution, but they have a limited time frame to do so. If the Crown doesn't reactivate the charges within the time limit, the charges are effectively dismissed. In Top 5's case, he got pretty lucky because the judge decided they wouldn't use his social media posts and activity against him in the trial, and that's why it got put on hold. The guy does a lot of crap talking online, and they decided not to use that as evidence against him. Ironic, because while Drake was fighting for this man's freedom, he's now suing his record label, attempting to use lyrics and social media activity against Kendrick and UMG to build this defamation lawsuit. But as Top 5 was released, his lawyer emphasized that it's important to note that quote-unquote drillers need to portray this tough guy act online and in their music to sell their music, but that's all it is an act. It's a persona. It's not real life. It should not be used against an individual in a court of law. Top 5 came out of prison that day, very thankful of his lawyer.
You freed me! You freed me! Yeah, I'm home!
How does it feel to be stepping out after being in custody for that long?
I feel like Shohei Ohtani, superstar.
And also claimed that he would be moving in a more positive light going forward.
What about the fact that a man did lose his life? Do you have any thoughts about that?
R.I.P., you know what I mean? R.I.P., I'm an innocent man. Hope they find whoever did that.
They could revive the charges within a year.
They could.
They were alleging he was the mastermind from the backseat, again, based only on his lyrics, based only on his rap, based only on his persona as Top 5. That was the problem with their case all along.
Are you going to start rapping again?
Positive.
What's your plan now?
I'm going to bring every community together. Stop the violence.
With positive.
Positivity.
Keep in mind what they said here. The court has 1 year to renew this trial, if that's the right term. He got let out on September of 2024. You'll see later he quickly found himself in more legal trouble after that, but again, they only got a couple months until September of 2025 to actually renew this trial to begin with. And you'll see later on in this video how Top 5 is behaving on Akademiks' live streams, the type of behavior Akademiks is enabling, and you'll decide for yourself whether this man is putting on an act for social media or if there's some truth behind the horrible things that Top 5 is saying. But before we get into all that, it's important to note that the day Top 5 was released, he put up a picture on his Instagram of him and his lawyer, tagging Drake, saying, "Shout out to the big bro Drake for the lawyer fees and Gary Grill for being the best lawyer in Toronto," seemingly implying that Drake paid the lawyer fees for this man to be let out of prison. Now, the most horrible part of this entire story, in my opinion, is the fact that the victim's cousin later that day went onto Instagram questioning why Drake would bankroll the lawyer fees for a man who was accused of such a horrible crime. He said, "Zero clue this was even a thing. This stuff hit like a blow to the stomach. Just so we're clear, my baby cousin's life was taken in the parking lot of his home. This is a trial about the unaliving of a kid. A child on the way home from a pizza place, not in no street politics, not a part of nothing, a kid. My baby brother had to find his best friend that night lifeless. I used to appeal to Drake. We all looked up to him. This is the wildest move. What the F are y'all doing, Drake?" And remember how Top 5 said on the day he was let out that he'd be moving with positivity from now on? Well, that didn't seem to be the case, as the same night that he was released from prison, he hopped on a live stream with none other than Akademiks and Adin Ross to profess that Kendrick Lamar and Metro Boomin were no longer safe in his hometown of Toronto.
Let me tell you something. Kendrick Lamar can't come to Toronto. I'm here.
Yo! No. Yo, we gotta politic this real quick.
Top 5 also emphasized that him and Drake would be linking up in the near future to do a podcast where they'd watch the Not Like Us music video and do their homework on every single individual that made an appearance in the video.
Me and Drake are gonna link up in a couple days, and we're gonna do this podcast. And we're gonna play Not Like Us video. We're gonna look at every in the video. We're gonna do homework. We're gonna look for them. I don't play around by Aubrey. That's my bro. My Jewish brother Shalom.
Well, you're Jewish?
No, I'm Somali. My Jewish brother Shalom.
I'm Jewish.
I guess Drake really did his homework on that music video because he ended up copying it completely for his Nokia music video, and of course putting a bunch of screenshots of Not Like Us's music video in his lawsuit against UMG. And while Drake was smart enough to never actually do a podcast with Top 5, Top 5 would continue wasting that lawyer money that Drake paid for him while taking his antics up to another level, of course, all on a stream that Akademiks would host. He got on Akademiks' stream talking about how the Weeknd's house got hit with a firearm.
For Drake, I don't want to go on this level.
I can't even go to America. I swear a man's bodyguard's house got shot in LA. I can't even go to America.
I don't give a fuck, kid.
Until I get my passport. I got my passport.
You enjoy this shit? You want me to go on this level with this nigga?
No.
You want me to?
No, let's bring it down.
He continued doubling down on his threats against Kendrick Lamar.
Are you not scared?
Scared of what?
Kendrick?
We got money.
Kendrick and his people?
Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah, you're scared of Kendrick?
Tell him come to town. Swiss cheese.
What happened if he comes to Toronto?
I'll get the low, put on my Nike Tech black. So why'd you get us a driver? Put the window down, it is what it is. Get some fresh air.
And blatantly professing on Akademiks' live stream that he needs Kendrick unalived.
There's two I need that. You and Kendrick.
No.
You.
Now, it wouldn't be long after these horrible things that Top 5 has said online, after the horrible accusations he was accused of, that he was lucky enough, apparently thanks to Drake paying his lawyer fees, to at least get the trial delayed. You would think he'd be wise enough to stop talking online. But to no surprise, less than a month after becoming a free man, an article would release stating Toronto rapper Top 5 brags about time in jail, thanks the guards that he says gave him cell phones. Top 5 said, I had a weapon in jail, I had a cheeseburger in jail, I had a phone in jail. He thanked the correctional officers saying, shout out to the COs who took care of me and gave me the phones. The article would continue saying, since his release, Top 5 has appeared on multiple platforms threatening to incite violence. However, the line is often blurred between what rappers say being taken as fact versus artistic expression. The interviewer interviewed a homicide detective who said, we saw what happened in court with this particular individual where certain evidence was not allowed in. That doesn't mean the investigation is done. That means we're going to continue on, and if this man happens to inject himself back into the investigation again, then so be it. Essentially stating, like, the evidence we were trying to use against him was all from his antics on social media. That wasn't enough to prove he was guilty of the crime, so the trial was paused. But if he decides to inject himself back into this investigation, then by no means is this investigation complete. AKA, if he continues with the online trolling, if he continues with the antics, the threats, the violence, he's going to be right back in prison. And of course, we would not see the antics die down. Again, so much so to the point that, like I showed you guys before, Wack 100 flashed a hard drive on the No Jumper show, warning Drake that whatever was on that hard drive could seriously incriminate both Top 5 and Drake himself.
This has been in existence about 90 days, and I have made sure it hasn't went anywhere, personally. I think you know what I'm talking about. That dude with his mouth and the things he say does not support your career and how far you come. I'm telling you as a brother, this is how much I got respect for you.
He emphasized that Drake attaching himself to someone as reckless as Top 5 would only leave Drake associated and guilty of whatever crimes Top 5 would proceed to commit.
Get the fuck away from Top 5, bro. World, remember, I'm warning Drake. He's gonna have you hemmed up, called up, and cuffed up. Dude is reckless with his mouth. He ties you to things, and he's a dumb. This is how much respect I got for you. You can't be tied to somebody, bro, that continuously wants to say they're tied to you. Bro, you seen him the other day? He said, yo, I want to kill two people. Kendrick Lamar being one of them. You can't do that.
Now, this would have a dark foreshadowing of what was to come. You guys can go read the Dark Kenny Reddit for a lot of theories tying Drake and Top 5 to some vile things. I'm only going to touch on what we know as fact in this video, but those hard drives containing some incriminating information against Top 5 and Drake aren't completely out of the realm of possibilities. Now, in the meantime, when it comes to Akademiks, let me do my fantastic hip-hop voice. Now, when it comes to Akademiks, he was ready to fully capitalize off the crash out that was Top 5. Because as people around Drake who cared about him warned him of the dangers that came with associating with the Top 5, Akademiks doubled down on the cosign, announcing to the world that he signed the biggest glazer of the Gaviline Gram to his record label. Now, I don't know if he signed Top 5 as a streamer, a podcaster, an unaliver, a music artist, whatever it was. Top 5 now had the stamp of approval from BJ Big Snack of Akademiks.
The building, man, the Academy Records, I told you I was launching, man. Listen, I dropped a $25 million bag. I had to do it, man. The first signees to the Academy Records, the biggest demons out of Toronto. Yo, y'all artists, y'all don't have a hit song, y'all not dripping like this, it's gonna take a while. Let me tell you this. $5 million. I signed him, put $5 million in his pocket. 35 5 mil straight. Hey, this guy been rich. I just gave him 5 mil just cause. I had to give Boondog 5 mil just for him to stop sliding. That was the only stipulation. No more sliding. It's over. It's over. The Academy records, man. Listen, when these guys drop, big actors behind it, man. Listen, there's no bigger voice than me.
Now, while things seem to be looking on the up and up for Top 5, him just signing a record deal with the Big Mac Records, unfortunately, things would take a left turn, as in January of 2025, Top 5 had been arrested and charged with multiple offenses in connection with a firearms investigation, unfortunately sending him back to prison. And of course, DJ Akademiks took the opportunity to further antagonize, spread rumors, and put other people's lives in danger as he accused or questioned Hidda J3 to imply that he was the one responsible for Top 5 now being incarcerated. If you guys don't know, Hidda J3 is a close affiliate and collaborator of Kendrick Lamar.
Respectfully, Top 5's team is telling me that he got on FaceTime with y'all and that he got locked up about a video and he think y'all told on him.
Look, check this out. My people was right here when I was on the phone with Top 5. Did I ever do anything with that footage? No. We don't do police right there. We ain't got to record no calls, bro. On the homies, me and him, if it was real smoke, he was going to keep it in the street.
And it wouldn't take long for Top 5 to be re-released from prison. Did Drake pay his lawyer fees? Who knows? But of course, he'd be back to the antics, and this is where Akademiks comes into the picture. It's been flying under the radar, as it should, given the gravity of the situations that could potentially escalate from Top 5's words, but Akademiks has been platforming this man to say more and more reckless things as the days go on. And if he's not platforming it, then he's at least sharing whatever Top 5 is saying. Again, this is a very similar model to what he was doing with 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine would go crazy online, beef with a bunch of rappers. Akademiks would be the first one to post whatever 6ix9ine was talking about, interview him on his platform, and essentially, through his line of questioning, would inspire 6ix9ine to talk more and more recklessly about different rappers, so then Akademiks could get on his own live streams and talk about all these antics as they unfold, because drama sells. And if Akademiks can not only talk about it, but also antagonize it, fuel it, draw up even more drama, and be the one platform where all these rappers go to then air out their differences against each other, well, then he has all the power and attention in his hands and no consequences to suffer, since he's behind his camera and his mic and his chair right at his computer screen without being the one actually directly involved in any of this drama, simply instigating it. When Top 5 got out of prison, he posted on Instagram saying, "Since I beat my case, I haven't seen any of those XO guys in my city. I wonder why." And of course, Akademiks tweeted it out on his propaganda Twitter page. It wouldn't take long before Kanye West wanted a piece of the attention pie, so he also decided to start a beef with Top 5, which of course Akademiks platformed. Kanye on Twitter shared screenshots of his conversation with Top 5 saying, "Threats from Drake's Glazer. First you asked me for a chain and then begged me for a t-shirt for your hood. This dumb guy gonna get everybody locked up. Next thing you know, Drake gets charged with a RICO. And Drake paid for you to get out of jail, and then you snitched and told me he was sending Kim Birkins on Valentine's Day. I don't give a F about that old white lady, other than her always pulling stuff with my black children. Oh, and I did ask about you. You're dumb and no one respects you. You thought you were going to extort me. You're dumb." But Akademiks would then go on to report that Top 5 and Kanye ended up becoming friends, sharing a text message conversation saying, well, Kanye saying, "I see potential in you. I like your spirit. I see God in you. You won't tell your source unless you know I got you. I understand. Drake loves me and I love him." Top 5 said, "Where are you in the world? It's time for Top 5 to meet Kanye. Let's get you to Wireless in July and perform on stage with Drake. Imagine the crowd singing, 'She Wanna Hop in a Rari.'" Again, Akademiks middlemaning all this nonsense. And just the other day, in possibly the worst interaction we've seen thus far, Akademiks got on another phone call live stream with Top 5 where they discussed a bunch of different things. He starts off telling Top 5 that just like Top 5, Kanye has a bunch of ops, that he rightfully put onto himself by tweeting out heinous things for the last 3 months. And Akademiks asks Top 5, since they're now friends, is he gonna ride for Kanye?
Ye gonna ask you, he got a couple ops out here, He got a couple ops. If he tapping in with Top 5, He know how that work. He got a couple ops. You gonna help my boy out?
I'm riding, Doc. I'm riding.
Yo, here's the thing. He don't like Kendrick neither.
Of course, he had to bring Kendrick in the mix, Kanye being jealous that Kendrick now had the Super Bowl performance and locked up a bunch of Grammy Awards, almost beating out Kanye's record for the most amount of Grammy Awards by a rapper. Kanye is now extremely jealous of Kendrick. But anyways, forget about Kendrick, back to top 5. So he continues discussing Kendrick, with Akademiks antagonizing him, stating that when Kendrick comes to do his show in Toronto, he's gonna be dissing top 5's gang.
Yeah, but let me tell you something about Kendrick. Kendrick sucks, and he's abusing SZA. What do you think the f*** is gonna happen when he comes to my city?
Yo,
this is my.
I'm getting word that they got a special video that when they come to that Rogers Arena or the Rogers Stadium, they're about to drop a video dissing the Gigi's. I'm just letting you know.
Now again, it's disgusting, right? Because Akademiks doesn't realize the repercussions that can really happen in real life based off the questions and things that he's saying here, right? Like, this could all be one big internet troll for Akademiks with no repercussions because, again, he's sitting behind a computer screen. But Kendrick is really coming to Toronto, and if these narratives get fueled that Kendrick is going to try to pull some funny stuff on people who may take deep offense to that, it could end in, severe violence. And you'll see by what Top 5 says that whether or not, again, this is an internet troll, there's big threats that are being made here.
Let me tell you something.
Yo, I heard they got a Canada version of the show that's straight dissing. I'm just telling you.
So you're telling me right now?
Yes.
Let me tell you something.
That's word on the street.
Let me tell you something. I will quit rapping, quit trolling, quit social media if Kendrick Lamar comes to Toronto with no police escort and leaves Toronto.
So you could see here, Akademiks keeps, egging him on, talking about there's a special Not Like Us specifically for Toronto, right? He's trying to get that response out of Top 5, not thinking about the real repercussions that could come when Kendrick does go to Toronto.
Hold on. It's no way Kendrick comes to Toronto. You know when you listen to he's rapping in Not Like Us and this, and he's like he keeps saying Canadians, he's just kind of he's kind of dissing y'all still, oh, they just connect. Yo, you think he gonna go to Toronto and just be like,
you know what's so crazy? And I'll say this on stream. They asked me to perform it, and I said, "Are you guys crazy?"
Ooh.
So you could see here, Top 5's kind of teetering the line between making serious threats and doing some trolling at the same time. But it's an extremely dangerous game because that trolling could very easily get lost in translation with someone who actually takes this disrespect as a threat. And they continue with the trolling, bringing Hidda J3's name into the mix.
They asked you to perform Kendrick's team before.
They try to make me turn on my homie.
Oh, they try to. Yeah, that's kind of slick. Wait, they asked J3 Hidda to perform?
No, not J3 Hidda. J3 Hidda's a bum. He smells poor, like Ye says. Ye says, they smell poor. Yo, you know what?
Wait, so they asked you to perform. How that convo go? Because clearly they want you to switch on the boy.
And Top 5 continues with the narrative that Kendrick is not safe in Toronto.
I can't, bro. That guy got me out of jail. How the f*** am I gonna go on a live stage with a bunch of goofies and switch it on a guy that got me out of jail? I didn't have no lawyer fees before Drake. Now I'm up 7-10 mil. My life changed.
Yeah. Yo.
Let me tell you something. Hold on. You think Kendrick could come to Toronto with no security guard and walk around downtown? Let's be honest, bro.
I heard he's going to New Old King. I heard he's going to rent the spot out.
And of course, Akademiks just adds fuel to the fire, talking about, Kendrick's going to be walking around New Ho King, walking around Toronto freely, just to see the type of reaction that Top 5 gives to that statement.
I'll be there. By myself, personally. No GGs. Come on, you know what happened to Drama. You know what happened to a lot of goofies. When you come to Toronto, these niggas got to call me Ak. Call me.
So you tell me that Kendrick can't go to New Ho King and get that fried rice?
I'm going to give him something better than that fried rice. I'm gonna give him something better than that.
Then Akademiks goes on to question the Dodie 6 situation. If you guys didn't know, Dodie 6 was going through some mental health issues. He ended up apologizing to Kendrick, but initially came out and said that he was homeless and that the money that he got from Hey Now was not enough to get him off the streets. Akademiks continues antagonizing Top 5, saying, Drake paid your lawyer fees, he gave you all this money, you're up, you're not even on his album, Dodie 6 is on this album, he ends up homeless, that's what a Kendrick stimulus does. And of course, this is all, again, another attempt to try to egg Top 5 on to talk crap about anyone related to Kendrick Lamar.
You know what we got to talk about? So one of Kendrick homies that was on his album, a guy named Dodie 6, he came out saying F Kendrick because he's, you know why? He said he went homeless after the feature. And I said, yo, imagine getting a feature from the guy and going homeless. You came out of jail and you up like $10 million. I don't know what's going on. So you tell me the guys who with Kendrick, they getting a feature and they're homeless, and you get, you know, Drake help you out with everything.
So Top 5 continues doubling down, emphasizing that these people are not safe when they come to Toronto. And Akademiks, of course, doubles down, antagonizing and doing this disgusting evil laugh at the end when he gets that reaction out of Top 5 that he wants.
You think that guy could come to my city? They're calling me John Gotti right now, Ak.
Yo, I hear the man about to come to the 6 and diss everybody up.
You hear this new one? They have a diss for the GGs, Kendrick and them. I'm telling my big homie. Tell him come to Toronto.
But they're going to do that in the stadium, though. They're going to do that in the stadium and get police escort to the private jet.
Don't you know I got connects in stadiums? Everything, Ak.
Yeah.
I'm hot right now, Ak.
And Akademiks continues painting this narrative, putting Kendrick's safety in jeopardy, talking about how Kendrick is going to be rolling around going to Drake's hood, going to the CN Tower, going to New Ho King, again with that disgusting laugh, just trying to see how riled up Top 5 could get. But again, creating this situation where some dangerous things could very well escalate when Kendrick actually does come to Toronto.
Do you think he could come right now? Remember, just don't come police escort. No police escort.
I hear you going to be moving in Canada type wicked, though. I hear you going downtown. He going to take a picture by the CN Tower, and then he going two places, New Ho King, and then he pulling up by Drake Block. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Could be wrong still.
And all in all, this is just absolutely disgusting to see, right? After the countless warnings to Drake from WAC 100, Drake is still out here being pictured with Top 5 more than he ever was in his entire career. Akademiks is doubling down on the antics, compiling these narratives that are damn near evil at this point, right? Because he's concocting these situations where Top 5 and all these people around him are very well going to think that Kendrick is rolling around Toronto looking for a fight. And with the desperation that they have for attention, who knows the lengths that they'll go to actually make something happen. It's scary to see, it's scary to think about, and it's disgusting to think that Akademiks is alright, not only platforming this guy, but asking him the questions that could put many people's lives in danger. This is how Top 5 is wired to be. I don't expect anything different from him. But the way Akademiks is moving here, the lines of questioning, the laugh at the end of these questions when he gets that reaction out of Top 5, it's damn near evil. It's disgusting to think that this is the type of content or entertainment that he resorts to keep his audience engaged. It's almost like he's thirsty for a conflict to happen just so he has something to report on when it actually does. Because again, just like with 6ix9ine, it's not Akademiks that faces the repercussions. He's safe behind his computer screen while he instigates these beefs that can lead to innocent people being put in danger. It'll be very interesting to see the day when Akademiks gets up from behind that webcam and physically faces the repercussions for many of the conflicts that he himself is starting. I hope he smartens up before that day potentially comes for him. But let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you in the next one.